Hello and welcome to another episode of Doujin Drops. My name is Jay. I'm joined by my co-host T again.
Hey there.
Yeah, and we're back with another, hopefully weekly series now. Again.
Funny thing, Jay. I did not record. I did not edit the last web podcast. I got lazy. Also work.
Yeah, at least it sounded good. I mean, I actually heard it the last session, and it sounded all right. I'm glad we finally got the whole let's do this in one take type of thing down. I feel like we have that down.
I think we do. Think about it. We're not professionals podcasters like Joe Rogan and the other boys, but think about it. Just talk it out and hope it gives you guys something to listen to.
Yep. Well, let's start with the first thing we had on our fucking notes right now. I mean, this shit came out of nowhere, but I mean, Microsoft is buying Activision, man. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's just like the Flash Gets skit where they're all like, "Where's Phil Spencer? Is that who it is?" It's like, "Sorry, boys, Daddy was busy making deals, and he's basically just buying up everything at this point." Bought Bethesda, Microsoft bought Bethesda, bought what is it? Well, they bought a lot of stuff, to be honest. Lionhead Studios, which is defunct now, and they just—I don't know, man. Well, to be honest, man, I think it might be a good thing because Blizzard and Activision have been kind of going on a dumb streak in terms of their quality. Maybe Microsoft might fix that.
I mean, I agree with most things that you mentioned, but it's just for me, I can't really wrap my head around why they would do why Activision, because recently, especially this year and last year, we're not a business podcast or anything, but I'm gonna touch my fingers a little bit on this, but I think from last year or from 2020, they've been just scandal after scandal after scandal with them not paying their employees, sexual harassment lawsuits, and their CEO just not giving a fuck.
Blizzard also doing that too, kind of like the same boat.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, I know the Activision Blizzard CEO. He's the one that pretty much has the reins over both companies. I know Blizzard has its own, but he's the lesser of the both. But it's just the Activision Blizzard CEO. He just didn't give a fuck about anything. He refused to step down. There's a lot of controversy around him. So, and as you mentioned before, there's Activision Blizzard. They haven't really been cranking out any decent, good quality games. That as long as I can remember. I mean, it's just Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, possibly Diablo. I know they made that shitty Diablo mobile game. So
that came out already?
I think it did already. I'm actually not too sure. I don't give a fuck about mobile games, so
dude, I don't even.
I mean, I know Call of Duty Mobile came out.
Yeah,
I know Call of Duty Mobile came out, and it's a big thing. But I just don't. I don't really understand why Microsoft would acquire this company for $60 billion when the market valuation of this company, so what this company is actually worth, is $50 billion. Not to mention, I feel like they're a studio. Activision Blizzard for me is a studio on the decline. They're scandal ridden. They're not doing good quality control of their products, and they paid them $10 billion over sticker price. I feel like obviously Activision got the better end of the deal. I think they're one of the deals. I think one of the conditions people were talking about was the CEO has to step down, and I mean, obviously that's going to be a positive change for the company. But I just think that Microsoft got gypped in this deal. I mean, I know I wouldn't pay Activision, for acquiring Activision Blizzard. I wouldn't pay $60 billion. I don't even think they're worth $50 billion, which is what they're really actually worth.
See, in my opinion, Jay, I think on it, man. Microsoft, they're not dumbasses. They know what they're doing, my man. They could be right now. They're just playing Monopoly. Just getting everything, getting all the properties on the board, and just flipping them.
Yeah, I mean,
let's be honest here. But Microsoft is not dumb, and they're just basically getting more products like Phil Spencer in that Flash Gets, getting more companies, and he's all like protein. Just going ham, just adding to their empire, which isn't a bad thing, man. I mean, think about it, man. they got to deal with Nintendo, and they got to deal with Sony. And so far, Nintendo has their Switch and their titles, and they're pretty on a good hill right now. While Sony, has their exclusives. Well, Xbox or like just Microsoft in general,
I think Nintendo, like out of the three big companies, I think personally for me, in my opinion, I think Nintendo is the stronger one out of the three, because just simply due to the fact that I feel like they're more hands-on with everything. Like they control almost everything in their ecosystem, you know what I mean? They have their own hardware. They control their own, proprietary, not proprietary, my bad. That's not the word I was trying to use. They have their own, like, studios that they own, like the Pokemon Company, and we're the ones that make Metroid. I'm not too sure. But what I'm trying to say is that they do their own development, and then, they also own companies that are under their own pockets. They release only Switch exclusives. So I feel like they have more control over their stuff, and hopefully out of this, Xbox might be taking a page out of Nintendo's book,
See, for me, I think they just have more interesting IPs. Like, Sony's and, Nintendo has just interesting IPs because, Nintendo has what? Metroid, Pokemon, Fire Emblem, what the fuck else is there? There's Animal Crossing, and,
they have
much,
the Smash
much
Brothers.
more.
They have the Smash Brothers series.
And then, Sony has, God of War is now on PC now. The funny thing is, the new God of War is on PC now. And even Monster Hunter Rise, which was a Switch exclusive for a long time, is now also on PC. They ported it. But you see what I'm trying to say, right? Like, they had God of War, Spider-Man, and everything else. Like, that's what you think of when you think of Nintendo or Sony, right?
Yeah, naturally, naturally have the more interesting titles out of, like, it's like you said, Sony and Nintendo have the more interesting titles out of Xbox. I feel like that's really one of the reasons why the Xbox One didn't do too well, because it did not have that many good games.
Well, if you think about it, they kind of butt-fucked Halo and Gears of War to the ground, though, if you think about it.
I heard Halo Legends made a good comeback. I mean, people seem to like it.
Halo Legends?
Not Halo Legends. I'm talking about the anime. Sorry, Halo Infinite. My bad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Like, multiplayer nice, and like the only one gripe a lot of people have about it is like there kind of is no co-op campaign, which I'm like, bro, that's kind of like the entire point of Halo. But at the same time, if you think about it, well, couch co-op is like rarely a thing, but at the same time, people can still play console, right, or PC to PC. But I guess they didn't add it this time. But multiplayer, very fun, very fluid. They took what made the older Halos fun, but also took the modern modern things and put it into Halo Infinite, not fucking it up, because and we needed this, because like if we still kept to the same formula, then people get bored. There's no freshness.
It's not that people got bored. It's just, well, I mean, yeah, that's actually a really big issue with the Halo franchise for me, is that it didn't feel like they innovated as much. I feel like they just recycled a bunch of stuff, for the most part, and I just did not like the way 343 handled, not only just, the first, Halo 4 and Halo 5, but also the Halo War series. I fucking loved the first one. And I think they gave it to Creative Assembly, which it actually gave me hope that it was going to be good, but yeah, I played it and it just wasn't as fun as the first one.
I liked 4. 4 was nice. I really enjoyed 4. 5, I don't know, that was weird. Just, they hype up freaking Master Chief and Locke.
I don't know. See, Halo 4 for me was weird because I think that's when they introduced the Prometheans.
Yeah.
And I just did not know why they would do that when, there's the Flood. I mean, I know the Flood is still around. I know they defeated the Hive Mind and everything on the fucking Ark in Halo 3, but they're still out there, and, they're still like a really big threat. And then, there's the Remnant of the Covenant. And then they're like, you know what? No, let's just introduce the new type of villain. And it was... I just feel like they didn't fit too well in the Halo universe,
Well, like, see, for me, I took it. Change is nice, Can't be Debbie Downer all your life, man. Gotta accept change, embrace it. Pull down your pants is like, do me now, change. And they're like, no, please, don't do me. But
hopefully this is an upward trend in the Halo franchise, because I feel like it's been on the decline since Halo 4. Hopefully, Halo Infinite just ends up being the Halo game everybody wanted. Everybody loves
I
it.
mean, it basically is, man. It is basically is. It's the Halo game that everyone wanted, but it's modernized. Can you imagine? Just imagine flying through the air using one of those air things that launches you into the air. Then you basically get yeeted into the face with the force of 1,000 tigers because someone Spartan lasers you in the fucking face, and you're like, damn, I missed this. That shit happens. That shit happens, man, Jay. That shit happens, and that's what I like. Moving on though to more less business thingies because everyone probably tired of hearing Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft and all
we've
that.
ranted about it enough.
Now, thing is, the Italian Senate, they were having a virtual meeting, online meeting, and in this online meeting, there was Nobel, I think one Nobel Prize winner, some politicians, and this and that. But either it was a troll or it was a mishap. Someone played some, Final Fantasy VII, some Tifa porn, 3D Tifa porn, SFM porn, right on the screen. And it took them a while to figure out what the fuck's going on. Now, it wasn't any hardcore gangbang shit. It was just some basic vanilla shit, right? But at the same time, people were like, "Whoa, what's going on here? Oh, porno! Oh no!" And they had to shut it down and all that. And at first, when I saw the news, Jay, I thought it was a meme. I literally thought someone just got grabbed a recording of the meeting and just kind of plopped that on top of the video.
Yeah, you thought it was edited.
No, but apparently more and more people are saying, yeah, it happened. I'm like, did it now? Well, damn. I guess someone really likes Final Fantasy VII, man. But if you think about it, Tifa's hot. So I don't blame them. I do not blame them.
No, I mean, it's actually pretty funny that it happened, in the, what did you say? It was the parliament, right? The Italian parliament or something?
Oh, Italian Senate meeting, basically.
Yeah,
and,
I'm not too familiar with Italian politics. So.
Oh, dude, all I know is that it happened. Someone played 30 seconds of Tifa porn, SFM Tifa porn, and I was like, huh. I legit thought it was a meme, but it was not a meme. And I'm like, nice. This shit, you need something to spice up the livelihood.
You need a refresher from all the bureaucracy, all the fucking hearings and stuff. You need a not just a refresher, but a pause from that mundane political, reality that you find yourself in if you're a politician.
Yeah, you need to they're probably
yeah, just appreciate some good SFM porn in public.
And if you think about it, on the outside, they're probably like, "Oh my God, Dios mío," and on the inside, they're like, "Bueno," with that long horse face, "Bueno."
You mean Benissimo?
You're like, "Mwah, mwah, mwah," they're eating pasta. They're like, "Mwah, this is some good sauce, some good ass shit."
Yeah, at least Italian politics had something interesting. When did this happen?
I know, right?
Weekend, or?
I think it just happened now, to be honest, man. It's just popping up in my feed, or just popped up in my feed, or I was like, what? This happened?
I need to check that out. That actually sounds pretty hilarious.
Yeah, no, it actually happened, boys, and you heard it here. Italian Senate people, they love their Final Fantasy porn. I mean, they might watch.
There's somebody in the Italian Senate.
Someone in there, yeah, someone in there.
Somebody in there really.
Now though, in this day and age, right, where Italian Senate people are watching, freaking SFM porn or Blender porn, right? Jay and I have been kind of calming down on anime, due to work and life, and we can't talk about anime all the damn time, right? But every now and then there's something that pops up, and we're like, huh, interesting. So, Jay, have you heard about this Oh shit. Okay, don't mind that. Okay. I thought I dropped my drink or spaghetti or I don't know. Okay, anyways, no. The thing is that there's this anime, right? Now there's two animes that I have have some great hopes for, or at least that's kind of it caught my eye at least. One is kind of a bit lewd, right? But I guess it's not too lewd. So the first one is called My Dress Up Darling. All right, and you may have seen some maybe some trailers or some memes out of it, right, or some pictures, but it just came out a week ago, right? Literally came out a week ago. I think there's only 2-3 episodes out right now, and the premise is this, Jay. High school. Yeah. I know. High school. dude who's really good, who's a craftsman, who wants to be a Hina doll like crafter. You know, one of those like, you know, those like dolls that you usually see at the shrines, and you know, with a white face and kimonos and all that, right?
Yeah,
So stuff like that.
I know the type.
Yeah. No,
The ones that
it
use
might
for
not be the
ceremonial
most,
purposes.
yeah, it might not be the most accurate like description, but you know, I'll just give you a sense, right? So I guess he does that, and he's that, but I guess he doesn't have any friends as much, right? And then, you know, while he's making one, I guess at school, one of the popular girls at school are like, "Hey, wait a minute, you make you do this?" He's like, "Yeah, you're really good at sewing and this and that." He's like, "Uh-huh." And she's like, "Well, I really like cosplay, so let's benefit each other. Yeah, you can make my clothes of my cosplay for my video game like cosplays, and in return, you get to see my cosplays." And he's all like, "Ah, the negotiator. Oh, okay." And then, like, you know, basically that, and is most of the time she's kind of in a you know, a swimsuit, and she's in, you know, big titties and all that, and you know, she's kind of like a Yankee girl, right? And it's just, yeah, just that basically. That's mostly of the anime, which is nice, not bad. What do you think, Jay? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel like the plot's a little weird. It's as our previous president would say, that would be the worst deal in the history of deal making. Because I feel like I feel like if you're making like you know, those little dolls, I feel like putting that and doing it like life size, like, you know, human size, I feel like that's totally different. You know what I mean? It's yeah. It's like something entirely different. It's from playing, you know, the minor leagues to the major leagues. That's something completely different. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe he's probably sewn actual clothes or something before. I mean, I've never really heard of this anime till you mentioned it, because the only anime I've really been seeing recently would be the second season of Princess Connect Redive, which is out. I didn't really expect it to be out. I haven't really been keeping up with anime news recently. But, you know, I mean, you know, the Princess Connect series is actually one of my favorite ones. I know I've been talking about it since, the first episode of this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm pretty excited that it came out. How's
it so far, man? Is it better than the first season?
I mean, what I like about it is that it's... I don't really want to compare it to this anime, but a lot of people I know on the internet, especially on Reddit, I've been seeing a lot of memes being compared, the two, every now and then. It's comparable to Konosuba. But, you know how, I think one of the memes said this: every great masterpiece of a show has a really good imitator.
Yeah.
And that's what Princess Connect is. It's just like a really good imitator of Konosuba. Not a masterpiece, but, you know, really, you know, you can compare it well to Konosuba. I don't think many shows can have that, and especially because this is based off of a shitty mobile game. I've played the mobile game and it's pretty bad. It's one of those shitty mobile games that plays itself. Like, you don't play it, they play itself.
So it's kind of almost like Girls Frontline, but like, you know, Girls Frontline is actually pretty nice. It's also getting an anime. It's very dark though. I mean, Girls Frontline's story is pretty dark in general, but like, you know, waifu's galore.
Yeah, and I mean, I know the only recent anime news I've seen is that Kante Collection is getting a second season. I don't know why. The first season was just really horrible.
I mean, think about it. I mean, I think it's more like just to promote. I think that anime was just more to promote Kante Collection. You get the nut. You know, you get a tiny nut. Like,
yeah, it was one of those animes that was obviously just a promotional anime, but the fact that it's getting a second season, I'm like, I don't think anybody asks for a second season of that show. I mean, maybe...
there's a lot of fucking fans, my man.
I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe some fans over there... well, obviously Japan is like the main target audience, and they're the ones that they listen to the most, but... I don't think I've ever seen anybody that ever said, hey, I want a second season of Kante Collection. And Kante Collection was just so bad. I think the only really good episode was when they introduced the Kongo sisters. That was about it. If it was more like that, then it would have been a great show. But it wasn't. And therefore it is pee pee poo poo.
Pee pee poo poo. Sheesh. Anyways, Jay. Now, another anime that you may like, right? Now, it hasn't come out yet, but I seen some of the trailer and like, okay, here's the premise. Okay. So there is a villain, right? She's the girl, and there's a hero, the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're sworn enemies in public. They fight each other hard as shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hero wants to bring world peace, while the other one wants to be like, world domination, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, they're actually like, when they're not fucking each other up, in public, in the behind the scenes, they're actually dating. Going on dates, baking sweets, meeting up, doing stuff. It's kind of like, and the thing is, like, they're kind of like, even though they're basically adults, they're very inexperienced, So, but you're like, I kind of like, that sounds familiar. That sounds like, sounds like other mangas out there, right? But at the same time, I'm like, it's not bad. You don't get this type of stuff often.
Yeah, it sounds like every other like high fantasy anime that it doesn't. I mean, I don't want to say it sounds generic, but it just sounds like something that other anime have already done, and I don't know if this one would do it better because the previous. But what if it does do it better? I mean, if it does do it better, then yeah, great. That's great.
Okay, think of it. Think of it like this, Jay. It's almost similar to, remember that manga I told you about a long time ago, the Precarious Woman Executive Miss Black General?
Oh yeah, that was actually pretty funny. I mean, I haven't really caught up with it, but I know I've read the first 10 chapters, and it's pretty funny.
Basically, guys, the premise of that manga is kind of like, the girl is the villain, the guy is Batman, basically, Jay, right? Fucking Batman. It's basically anime Batman, but like more like, why am I doing this? Why are you teasing me? Why? I just want to solve crime type of shit. But she's madly in love with anime Batman, and he's just trying to stop her antics, and it's a really joyful ride. So it reminds me of that manga. It's very nice, very nice.
Dude, the only really good manga that really for me, it stuck as being for me so good that it just stuck for me for the longest. I know I put it off for the longest. I know I went back a couple of years ago and finished reading it, and they didn't do too much of a good job with the ending. The ending was just kind of garbage. But, I enjoyed the ride. I think I talked about it also again in this podcast before. It was Sun Can Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the previous work of the guy that made Dr. Stone, which I felt Sun Can Rock was better than Dr. Stone, but I mean, I actually want to fight people in the comments section over that.
Hey, think about this, Jay. Think about it, Jay. Your time will come, man. Your time will come. It's like what our previous president said. They're like, they're like, don't come, do not come, and then the anime is gonna be like, I'm gonna come.
Okay, this one I kind of doubt it. I don't really want to get too much into it, but this is one of those manga that I really don't think, even though it was so good for me, I don't really think it's going to be made into an anime, simply due to the fact that it's already kind of old. I don't think most people heard about it, because, he ended up making Dr. Stone, and I think more people heard about that than they did with Sunken Rock. Another thing is the political reasons. I'm not too sure if I mentioned this in the other podcast when I mentioned Sunken Rock, but
oh no, you did.
Yeah, I know for I think for political reasons, there's another reason why it might not be made. So there's also that.
I mean, think about it, Jay. Devil's a part-timer, man. Part 1 came out like what, when we were still in high school, and almost literally a fucking decade later, like season 2, let's go, sheesh, and then you're like, oh damn, And remember, man. The melancholy Haruhi Suzumiya, right? It went on hiatus for when I was in college, and damn near almost another like decade, right? And then suddenly, fucking author comes on over and is like, "Bitch, have another like a light novel, bam!" And then just dipped. And I was like, "Well, shit, you just had to wait,"
Yeah.
And
my
people were so happy they were doing the dance right outside the bookstore, man. And look at Room Factory 5. You didn't think Room Factory 5 was gonna be a thing, but bam. It came.
I mean, but there goes this question that I did wanted to ask. Now that you brought that subject up, do you really think that wait was worth it?
Yep.
Because I don't think it was. I mean, imagine if Rune Factory 5 came out and it was actually good. I mean, so far from what I've seen on the videos, I'm having mixed feelings about it. I really want this to be good because Rune Factory 4 was just such a masterpiece. But if, let's say it was successful, I don't think waiting another 10 years is worth it. Like, I genuinely hope Rune Factory 5 is successful, but I just don't want to wait another, 10 years, you know?
Yeah, I did see some gameplay of it, right? Like, it's already out in Japan, of course, right? And it's not released, worldwide yet, right?
Huh.
No, yes, it's already out in Japan. Like, and some streamers that do have access, or can read Japanese, right, can play Rune Factory 5. Now, their critique is this: the game is a bit too short, right? The game is a bit too short. A bit short.
Damn, that's surprising because Rune Factory 4 was a long ass fucking game.
Yeah, compared to Rune Factory 4, right? Then after that, in terms of the graphics, people are like, the graphics aren't important, but at the same time, when you can have games looking like, you have great looking games like freaking what is it called, Breath of the Wild, and freaking Pokemon. Other than that, with especially Pokemon with this, some of its limited hardware, and all that, right?
Yeah, I know that's one of the recent criticisms that the new Pokemon Legends Arceus is having is that the graphics don't really look too good. But then again, it goes back.
On Switch.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it also goes back to the thing that most people have been saying for the longest. I mean, I know since when I was a kid, people have been saying that, but graphics don't really make up a game.
I mean, it kind of does, it.
I mean,
does it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like it does and it doesn't,
Yeah. But
I
mean, they have a lot of good games out there with really shitty graphics. I know the one that most streamers are playing right now is Jump King. And obviously that one has really old retro graphics, but I think it's the retro feeling that makes it funny and cool to play.
But yeah, think about it, man. It's kind of I looked at the graphics of Rune Factory 5, and I'm all like, the reviewer was right. Here's the thing, she still loved the game, but she was all like, a lot of the things, a lot of the textures and all that in the game, it feels like a PlayStation 2 game, which at the same time you could be like, graphics don't make the game if it's fun, but at the same time, I also want the game to look, updated or modern.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
it's 2022.
It also goes back to the previous concern is that I think that game was just stuck in development hell.
Yeah, probably. And if you think about it, it was just almost like the Fire Emblem series, because last Fire Emblem they made was what before they were they had a choice of either make it or break it, was what Fire Emblem, not Birthrights, but our Conquest. Which one's the one before that?
Awakening.
With Lucina. Awakening. With Awakening, if they didn't make good sales of Awakening, Fire Emblem would have been scrapped, right? But it did really great, and the waifu system worked, and bam, they got revived. With Rune Factory 4, Rune Factory 1, 2, and 3, they were kind of using the same formula and all that. It was still nice, but it had a small following. Then, Rune Factory Ties of Destiny and Frontier, still kind of a small following. Then, I guess, people really just didn't get into Rune Factory, and then Rune Factory 4 came in. Rune Factory 4 was kind of their last hurrah, or if they didn't make it, they just scrap it. If they did, then hurrah. And I guess it did better than they expected. And they're like, oh shit, we did not know it would do that great. So
yeah, but unfortunately, unlike Fire Emblem, where they made sequels every 2 to 3 years, this one, the sequel to Rune Factory 4, was just stuck in development. Now, I'm glad they made a remastered version where they added more shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just though that wait, I don't think is worth it. I wouldn't wait 10 years for the next Rune Factory game to come out.
Hey, let's just imagine this, Jay. Just play your Rune Factory 4 special edition for now.
I've already
Rune Factory 5
played
comes
it.
out.
I mean, I know I got stuck in a part and I just can't find a way.
Yeah, but whenever Rune Factory 5 comes out worldwide, play it. And, we can just talk shit on it, or we can praise it. And either one when the time does come, shit like that. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, are you gonna get the new Pokemon Diamond or Pearl, or are you just gonna skip that? Because see, the only reason I got it was because I think the last game in the series that I left off was Pokemon Emerald. So Pokemon Emerald was the last game I played before I just dropped the Pokemon franchise in its entirety. I know when they remastered Diamond and Pearl, I'm like, you know what? Why not? After all these years, why not? Let's pick it up. Let's see what this is the game that I left off of. So let's see how it goes. And hey, it's actually a really good banger. I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, I liked it. I like the fact that you can even find like starter Pokemon from the previous 3 regions.
But the thing is, like, the newer Pokemons are kind of like dumbed down or easy, you know. I mean, think about it. You don't have like
they don't look, they don't look as iconic as the first 3 gens.
No, it's not iconic. It's more like they made a lot of the things easy, you know, which is great, like, you know, user friendliness. But it's kind of like gym leaders and other things are just like your rivals, are just kind of like pushovers. Like, there's no Chaticus Gary over here. Like, you just came out of a fucking cave, right, Jay? You're beat the fuck up. Most of your Pokemon have fainted, right? And you're like, oh shit, I need to get a town and go to the Pokemon Center.
Comes out of nowhere.
Girls are like, oh, what's up, Jay? Oh, I see your Pokemon hurt. Just fight now. And you're like, smell your yay, man. And you're like, bro, what the fuck? And then, you know, you basically get jumped by his team. And then you lose. And you're like, bruh. And, you know, you probably saved like 10-15 minutes ago. And he's like, oh, I beat you. Oh, Jay. Smell you later, man. Woo. And just runs the fuck away.
Yeah, I mean, that's, for me, that really wasn't an issue because, like, the Pokemon champion, you know, Cynthia, she's very OP. Like, fuck, dude, it took me a while to beat her. And the way I beat her was actually, like, the worst fucking, like, it was the noobiest way that I could think of that I could finally fucking beat her. And so I got out of that fight with the skin of my fucking teeth. So Cynthia was actually really, really OP. What I did not like that much about Diamond and Pearl was the extreme lack of fire-type Pokemon. There wasn't that many. Yeah, there actually isn't that many fire-type Pokemon.
Oh shit.
There's a lot of grass, water, and ice Pokemon, but there really aren't that many fire-type.
See, I hope you're not being like, you know, I did not going on a rant where it leads to like, I did not like Alpha Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It was too much water. Too much water, boys.
No, really, there isn't that many fire-type Pokemon. You don't unlock the majority of the fire Pokemon, which is like from the other regions, until you complete the regional Pokedex, or whatever they call it. And then you get the international Pokedex. Like, when you unlock the international Pokedex from Professor Oak, that's when all of a sudden all the Pokemon from Kanto, Johto, and what's the other one? Hoenn. They just congregate in Sinnoh. So, like, you'd be walking around the grass and all of a sudden, oh my god, look, a fucking Cyndaquil or some shit like that, like a Bulbasaur, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I mean, I like that because I'm very nostalgic of the last 3 gens. I mean, you know, Hoenn was where I pretty much dropped the series, so I was actually happy that I managed to. They made a game that I could pick up on Sinnoh, which is where I left the series off. You know.
Oh, also, Jay. Coming off of that, I just remembered. Now this is gonna be weird as shit. Like this right here. Now you think the other, like, you know, season 2 of, like, you know, not Azure Lane. Season 2 of freaking Kante Collection came out of fucking nowhere, man. Nah, this here came out of fucking nowhere. And guess what? Guess what it is? Just tell me. Just not. Just guess. Just guess, Jay. Or you have no fucking idea.
A third season of Konosuba.
No. I mean, like, bro, I would nut in my pants right now. I'll run outside and scream loud as shit that, you know, yeah, let's go. Like, you know, it's like that meme. Okay, let's go. You ever hear that meme, Jay?
Yeah, the fucking the Zoomer meme, yes.
The freaking I think it's not his dad. The funny thing, it's not his dad. That's just some random dude from the carnival who is teaching this little kid to say, okay, let's be like, you know, a booth speaker. Okay, let's go. Wait, no. Anyways, so I'm not necessarily excited as shit, but it's kind of like, it kind of took me off guard. Okay, what if I told you an anime MF Ghost is coming out next year? And you're thinking, the fuck is MF Ghost? MF Ghost, Jay, is the sequel to Initial D.
I think you mentioned this in a group chat that we were in some time ago, but I've never watched Initial D. I probably should, but I haven't. No, but
the thing is, Jay, is like Initial D ended like a long some time ago. Let me see. I think it ended like in 2010ish. I think 2010ish. I think. Oh god. 2010ish, yeah, I think it ended in 2010ish. Like, I think that's when it like really ended, right? With all the manga and all that. And by the way, By the way, everyone, if you guys are getting into Initial D or MF Ghost for romance, let me tell you this. The author has no idea what he's doing, and he will cuck you at every fucking moment. So, dude, if you see a potential romance, which, you shouldn't be watching, you don't watch Initial D for the romance or, like, MF Ghost at all. Like, when it comes out. But, if you do see romance, just know that it's going to be ass because the author does not even admit himself. He sucks dick at romance. So, but he puts it in there anyways. So I'm like, why? Well, if you suck at it, don't put it in there. Anyways, Jay, the thing is about MF Ghost is this. It takes place in 2020s. Okay? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, by this time, by the way, it has like, I think like 10-ish, 11, maybe 13 volumes out already. By this time in 2020, most like internal I guess most like regular cars that you see nowadays, right, are being replaced by self-driving electric cars, right? So you're like, oh, what the fuck? But I guess there is a group, right, that only race like the old school cars, right? Like the non-electric cars, they still race it, and it follows this like 19-year-old, 18-year-old dude, right? British Japanese dude, right? Who appears on the scene one day, and he beats like he comes out of nowhere in the circuit, right? And he beats all the European top tier cars. Like he beats the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, and Porsches and all that, Carreras and all that. And you're like, what the fuck? He appears in a Toyota 86. Okay, and you're thinking, really? The Toyota 86, like that old that Panda style? No, not that Toyota 86. But like, how the Toyota 86 kind of had like a lot of like variations over the years, right, and upgrades. Yeah. He's driving, the newest model, right? But he basically, fucked them up drifting and all that, right? And apparently he's been trained by the main character of the Initial D. Now the thing is, like, his one goal, Jay, is I need to find my father. And that's about it. Now the thing about the thing about it though, I read some of the manga, and like, here's the thing, Jay. Remember, it's 2022 right now, right? The author still maintains his art style, which is pretty admirable because, some people like change the art style, but like, but the thing is kind of like when you're seeing that type of art style, like now, it feels dated,
I mean, Studio Ghibli fans would disagree with you. They'd still see it as, it's pretty charming and it's still nice, it's retro and everything. I don't really have a problem with art styles. I just hope the new series... Well, I mean, might not even watch it because I feel like I have to watch Initial D to appreciate the sequel more. It's kind of like it's kind of like watching Yashahime and not watching Inuyasha. You know what I mean?
But it's kind of everyone watch. I don't feel like. Well, you said that the sequel is kind of boring though, compared to like Inuyasha. It really
was. Like, I know after episode 8, I just dropped it. I'm like, this is so boring. Like, it's not that good.
I think it's more for the fans that are really into Inuyasha, and they're like they just wanna get their nut. Yeah, they want to get their nut.
Well, I mean, I guess anyway, that concludes this episode of the podcast. Unless you have anything to wrap around. I mean, we've been at it.
We talked about the good stuff, anime, Italian, porn sin, and Activision, the Microsoft Activision thingy with and all that. But yeah, boys, I think this wraps it all up, like Jay said. But we'll see you next time, and hopefully T will actually edit the other fucking episode. But I'm T,
and I'm Jay, and we're signing.